Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Let us continue with our tafsir of Surah Aal-Imraan bihawlillahi wa quwwatih. We are on ayah number 43. قال الله تعالى يا مريم اقنتي لربك واسجدي واركعي مع الراكعين. Ya Maryam, O Maryam, uqnuti, from qunut. We have spoken about this. It means dawamut ta'a, when you're constantly obeying Allah Jalla wa Ala. But it can mean other things as well in other contexts. So in the salah context, it means standing for a long time. And it has been mentioned that she would stand in the salah for a long time, that her feet would become swollen. And that would be similar to the Prophet ﷺ, would stand in the night prayer for such a long time that his skin would start to crack. And they said, wasjudi, that's the order to perform the sajda, and warka'i, that's the order to perform the ruku'. And he mentions sajda before the ruku' because the order is not important with the waw. And when he says warka'i ma'ar raki'in, with those who make the ruku', it does not mean that she is going to perform the salah with men, but rather she is going to perform the salah along with those people who are performing the salah. That's what it means. Note that this ayah follows from the previous ayah in which Jibreel is calling out to Maryam. This may be a audible sound, it may be an inspiration, as we said before. And this episode is before Jibreel informs her of the miracle birth. So do not get the two situations conflated. It is also worth mentioning that this name Maryam, they say in the Hebrew language, means khadim, which means a servant. And it has become a popular girl's name even to this day. We find it in the Muslim world, we even find it in the English world as well. So they name it Mary or Miriam, which is the English version of this name. And it is also worth pointing out that this is the only girl's name mentioned in the Quran. The Quran does refer to other women, such as the wife of Fir'aun, but it does not mention her name, Asya. It makes reference to the wife of Abu Lahab, but again does not make mention of her name. So Maryam is the only proper girl's name which is explicitly mentioned in the Quran. The name Maryam appears 13 times in the Quran, and it has also been said, according to some dictionaries, that Maryam means a woman who mixes in with men but does not do anything haram in terms of fornication or flirting and so on. And this definition definitely contradicts the previous definition, and because Maryam is not originally an Arabic name, it would make more sense to take the Hebrew definition of the word. So reflecting on this ayah, we can take obviously the great virtue of Maryam alayhi salam, in that even the angel is going to address her. We're talking of Jibreel. So can we take from this that Maryam alayhi salam is a prophet because Jibreel is addressing her, and prophets of course are addressed by angels? The answer is no. Merely an angel addressing you, even if that angel is Jibreel, does not make you into a prophet. Rather, a prophet is the one who is given the Sharia and then has to disseminate this knowledge amongst his people. So the Sharia is most important. Maryam alayhi salam was not given the Sharia. Indeed, she was a follower of the Sharia of Musa alayhi salam. The mother of Musa alayhi salam was also inspired by Allah. That does not make her into a prophet. Why? Because she was not given the Sharia, as opposed to Musa alayhi salam, who was inspired with the Sharia. Likewise, Isa alayhi salam was inspired with the Sharia and ordered to preach to the people. And furthermore, in Surah Yusuf, Allah Jalla wa Ala says, we have not sent except men whom we inspired from the people of the towns. Also, the Yahud claim that Maryam alayhi salam fornicated, and that's how she gave birth to this illegitimate child. A'udhu billah. But this is their claim. But when Allah Jalla wa Ala says, وَطَهَّرَكِ, He has purified you, then this is a rebuttal against them, because Maryam is purified from all these sinful actions. We may also take that when Allah Jalla wa Ala chooses a particular person and favors them, this is not for free. Such a person is also required to undergo a more rigorous acts of ibadah. Just like Maryam alayhi salam is ordered here to be qanit, meaning ordered with qunut and sajda and ruku'. And it's a similar thing with the last prophet. Of course, he's the most chosen of chosen people, and so his requirements were also greater. For example, the nighttime prayer was wajib upon him and not for the rest of the ummah. So being chosen is a good thing, however, it does not come for free. What is required of you is also greater. We may also take the virtue of these two positions of the salah, the sajda and the ruku'. Because both of these positions, just take a look at how they look like. You are lowering yourself to Allah, and this is an expression of your qunut, which can mean submissiveness to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Ayah number 44. ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْغَيْبِ نُوحِيهِ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يُلْقُونَ أَقْلَامَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ يَكْفُلُ مَرْيَمَ وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يَخْتَصِمُونَ. He says ذَلِكَ, meaning all that which has preceded, is from the anba, the plural of naba, meaning news, of the ghaib, unseen. Nuhihi, from awha, yuhi, iha'an. This wahi means when you inform someone quickly and secretly. That's what a wahi is. And the ayat of the Quran, all of them are wahi. So we give this wahi, or if you like, inspiration to you. And he says, وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ, you were not لَدَيْهِمْ, with them. Meaning this happened before you were born. You were not with them. When they were يُلْقُونَ أَقْلَامَهُمْ, throwing their pens to decide which one of them would be in charge of Maryam. And you were not with them when they were يَخْتَصِمُونَ, اختصم يختصم اختصاما, to dispute. In other words, they were disputing who should be in charge of Maryam, because everybody wanted to be in charge of Maryam. And so the way to decide who will be in charge was that they essentially drew lots, and they did this by throwing their pens. Now what the tafsir says on this matter is that Ikrimah narrates that Maryam's mother left her with the scholars in the Bayt al-Maqdis. This is the Al-Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. So these people were looking after the masjid, similar to how the Quraysh would look after the Kaaba, because it is the sacred place. The scholars said that she is the daughter of our Imam, meaning she, Maryam, is the daughter of Imran, as Imran, they said, used to lead them in the Salah. So they wanted to take charge of her. However, Zakaria comes along and says, no, give her to me. Her maternal aunt is my wife. And this is so because Imran and Zakaria both married sisters. The wife of Imran was the sister of the wife of Zakaria. But the scholars of the Al-Masjid al-Aqsa said, no, we want to take her. She is the daughter of our Imam. So they both had this dispute, each one bringing forth a reason why they should be in charge. And so in the end they decided to take pens with which they wrote the Torah and throw it in the Jordan River. The pen which remained afloat would be the winner. And it so happened that the pen which Zakaria alayhi salam threw remained afloat and the others did not. So he won and therefore kept charge of Maryam. This is what has been mentioned. Allah knows best. But the point is, they drew lots in this way and Zakaria won. This much we do know. So reflecting on this ayah, we take that the Prophet was not with them. And this is a rebuttal against the Sufiya, where there are from the Sufiya who say that the Prophet always existed. Even before he was born corporeally, he still existed spiritually. And of course this is nonsense and from their exaggerations, but this ayah said, you were not with them. So you were not with them means you were not with them, neither in body nor in spirit. You were simply not with them. And this is a rebuttal against the Sufiya. We can also take that it is permissible to draw lots if there is a dispute and you have to decide something. One might say, but is this not gambling because it all depends on chance? And gambling is a game of chance after all. The answer is no. It does depend on chance, yes, that's true. However, that's not the only ingredient for the gambling. In a gamble, somebody wins at the other person's expense. Here, Zakaria won, but he did not win at the expense of the others. Yes, if they had all put money in the pot, and the winner takes the whole pot, then that means the winner wins at the expense of the others, because the others who lost, they put money in the pot and they got nothing out of it, no returns. So that would be gambling. But if nobody is putting any money or any other wealth in the pot to begin with, and we simply have a winner and a loser, then that is not gambling, even if the win depends on chance. So we have this ayah as an evidence. In fact, we have plenty of evidence from the Sunnah as well that the Prophet drew lots. We also take from this ayah that Allah Jalla wa Ala can reveal knowledge of the unseen via the wahi in accordance with His wisdom and what He deems to be appropriate. Of course, He will not reveal everything of the unseen, but only certain matters for which there is some sort of benefit. We can also see here from this ayah that even as a baby, Maryam alayhi salam was extremely prized because everybody wanted to be in charge of her. She was seen as a special type of child. We also take that in those times how the people cherished the Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. The wife of Imran would even give her child as essentially a waqf to the Masjid Al-Aqsa. So the love and the veneration they had for the Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa would have been sky high. Ayah 45. وَإِذَا قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُبَشِّرُكِ بِكَلِمَةٍ مِّنْهُ اسْمُهُ الْمَسِيحُ عِيسَى بْنُ مَرْيَمَ وَجِيهًا فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ وَمِنَ الْمُقَرَّبِينَ. Okay, now this is another incident where the ayah says that the malaika, and again the plural is used here, but Jibreel is being referred to, and the plural is used as an honoring for Jibreel. And also the fact that Jibreel is speaking on behalf of all the malaika. So with both of these reasons, we may say that the plural is used instead of the singular. Otherwise, just know that it is Jibreel who is informing Maryam of the following, that Allah yubashiruki, meaning to give glad tidings, Allah gives you glad tidings of a kalima, of a word, minhu, from Him, meaning from Allah. Now what is being referred to is a miraculous child who is Isa alayhi salam, but he's called a kalima, a word from Allah. Why is that? Because it seems like a strange description for a baby. And the reason is because Isa alayhi salam was created by Allah saying kun, and kun, meaning be, is a word, as Isa alayhi salam was created miraculously, not by the usual way of the husband and wife copulating, but rather in a miraculous way, by Allah Jalla wa Ala speaking him into existence. So this is why he is called a word from Allah. This does not mean that he is divine, as the Christians would want you to believe. And he says, Ismuhu, his name is Al-Masih. What does Al-Masih mean? First of all, this is not the name of Isa alayhi salam. His name is Isa. But Al-Masih is a laqab, or we say a title. It is not his official name. Similar to Abu Bakr radiallahu an is As-Siddiq, and Umar radiallahu an is Al-Faruq. Okay, so why is he called Al-Masih? Well, the root letters are masaha, yamsahu, to wipe. For example, when you wipe the socks, when performing the wudu. And so he's so called because he would wipe people who were ill, for example the leper or the one who is blind, and they would be healed. So Isa alayhi is doing the wiping. It has also been said that he is called Al-Masih because he is wiped. He is wiped with blessing. So he is blessed. As he said, وَجَعَلَنِي مُبَارَكًا أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُ. And he, meaning Allah, has made me Mubarak, blessed wherever I may be, so that he is wiped with blessing. So these are at least two reasons given. There are other suggestions as well, but these two do appear to make sense. He says his name is Isa. In the Hebrew it is Isha. The sheen is used in Hebrew often, and it gets converted to seen in Arabic. It's the same with Musa alayhi salam. In Hebrew it is Musha. Likewise Masih. In Hebrew it is Al-Mashih. In Arabic it is Salam. In Hebrew it is Shalom. So the sheen appears to get turned into a seen in the Arabic language. Otherwise Hebrew and Arabic are sister languages. Though it should be noted that the ancient traditional Hebrew that Musa a.s. would have spoken is pretty much extinct nowadays. It has not been preserved, as opposed to traditional Arabic language that the Prophet spoke 1400 years ago is very much alive and kicking today. It's amazing that Allah Jalla wa Ala has preserved this deen by preserving the traditional language. This cannot even be said with the English. If you go back 600 years ago, the English they spoke then would be unintelligible to you. Over time, languages do change and evolve, but the traditional Arabic language has been conspicuously preserved. He says, wajihan in this dunya and the akhirah. Wajihan from the word wajh, which means face. So a person who is wajih means honored, because your face is the most honorable part of your body. It is the part with which you are recognized. Notice it is mansub, wajihan, not wajihun. This is because it is a hal. It is a hal of Isa alayhi salam, the state of Isa. And he is from the al-muqarrabin, from those brought close. From qarraba, yuqarribu taqriban, to bring something close. So he's brought close to Allah Jalla wa Ala. So from this ayah, we may take that Allah gives glad tidings, and so should we, because giving glad tidings is a good thing. It makes people happy, and you want to do to others as you would like them to do to you, and this is the essence of nasiha, so give glad tidings. We find from this ayah the virtue of Isa ibn Maryam, in that he is Al-Masih, first of all, which is an honorific title. He is called Wajih, and he is from the Muqarrabin. So these are, of course, praiseworthy descriptions. We may also find that not everyone is on equal footing. Some people are closer to Allah Jalla wa Ala than others. هذا والله أعلم.